attempt to adjust your podcast player. We are controlling the transmission. We are here to be your guide, helping you to explore local events, the art scene, music, theater, sports, and possibly a conspiracy or two. All here on the GCRX Radio and Podcast Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we have no introduction music because I'm a lazy ass. So,
Jeez.
But I want to welcome you guys to the show. My name is Chuck, your host, and with me, as always, is the ever-present Miss Kim Pearson and Mr. Engineer Bill.
Hello.
Yes, we're coming to you live from Studio B here in downtown Granite City, also known as the District if you're from the area, or rapidly becoming known as a district anyway. So I'd like to welcome you guys to the show. Miss Kim, how you been?
Real good.
I guess I need to stop calling you Miss Kim because you're not a miss.
Yeah, kind of I am.
Kind of you are?
Yeah.
Does the mister know that?
Oh, you don't care.
Oh, you don't care.
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
All right. Well, if you don't care, I don't care. You know, why not?
It just goes along with the whole daycare thing. That's what the kids call me.
Miss
So
Kim?
yeah,
All
what
right.
the heck? Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know when my kids were in daycare, they used to, go by Miss whoever,
Yeah.
Miss Pam, Miss Mandy, or whomever, something, like that. So I get it. All
Yeah.
right.
And eventually I'm going to get back to that,
You keep talking about that like almost every show now.
I am seriously scared for her husband.
I know,
sometimes.
right?
It's like, I can promise you that if this man ever passes on, we're not going to see Mrs. Kim for at least a couple shows because she'll be under investigation. I'm quite sure. Sitting in a little
He's
cell.
81. What the fuck? Oh,
Oh!
Ding, 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 ding.
what are they gonna
We have the
investigate?
second instance.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, look, I have been under the weather for like 3 weeks.
That impairs your filter.
Yeah, apparently.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your husband's name?
Mr. Dave.
Mr. Dave. Mister
Uh-huh.
Dave. I'd be scared if I were you.
Mr. Dave doesn't mess with the internet, so he'll never hear this.
Oh,
He doesn't even have a cell phone.
Wow.
does he got like no cell phone at all?
No.
What is this man living in like 1980 or what?
He was born in the 40s.
Okay.
Early 40s. Like he barely missed the 30s.
I actually know a
Gotcha.
lot of people that are younger than your husband that refuse to have cell phones.
Yeah, it's really not a bad thing to not have one. Not having a cell phone is probably the new cool thing to do because
Listen, what the closest he gets to any technology is when I hear my name being called
yeah.
because he's got something going and this is how he puts it. There's something wrong with my TV. It keeps saying no signal.
Wrong input.
Nice.
TV on the wrong input. Yeah. Oh, classic.
Nice.
And then I always pretend, oh my gosh, I don't know what that could possibly be. Let's call one of our kids.
That's the answer these days. It's either call tech support or
Call
call your
kids.
kid.
Yes. One lives with us, one lives directly across the street. Somebody's going to come over and pick up that remote that he's already pushed 20 new buttons on.
Right.
I just want you to
fix it.
know when they get that call, they drop that word that you just dropped earlier
Yeah.
and sigh heavily.
Yeah, they do it when they
And
come
they
through the
consider
door.
going and buying you one of those giant remotes for old people and taping off all the unnecessary buttons.
You have the
Yeah.
power button and the enter button and the volume button.
You
and
change the
channel
source
button.
on this, and I'm going to stab you in the throat with a
Right.
soldering iron. Okay.
Right. Well, it's funny because my mom, and if she's watching, she can probably attest to this. But she got a smartphone, and my mom's not old by modern standards. I mean, she's 67, so she's not old. She's
No.
not young, but she's not old. But she got a smartphone, right? And she had the hardest time figuring out how to answer the damn thing when it would ring or whatever. Or we'd be in the middle of talking, and she's not used to it touching her skin. So it'd click the hang up button or
Oh,
something
no.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think she's got the hang of it now, though. So I think my brothers, kind of helped her out a little bit with it. I think we may end up turning that light off. It keeps,
It ain't going to do anything.
yeah, it keeps flashing.
And David's not going to budge. He doesn't even have a debit card. And I'm sorry for every person that has ever been behind him and shooks because, yes, he's going to pull out the checkbook,
Oh,
Oh,
man.
the
geez.
paper form.
What's he going to do when they decide to quit taking checks? I mean, hell, a lot of places have stopped
Chuck,
taking
he's
cash.
81.
She's trying to tell you he's not long for this world.
Apparently. Well, when that happens, I know a great funeral home for you guys to
Free ad.
prearrange with. Yeah,
Free
to
ad.
prearrange with.
Listen, I love Rebecca, but this girl ain't spending none of her insurance money at a funeral home. We're going straight to the crematory, and we are moving on with life.
What, you got to have a funeral home to help with the crematory?
No,
and,
we don't.
And Rebecca can help you with that
Just
also.
stoke up that backyard fire. We're good to go.
Hey, actually, they have flameless cremation now.
Is it the water one or something?
It is.
Or that's kind of neat.
It's a water one, and Rebecca could
How
definitely
bizarre
talk
is
more about that. But yeah, it's I think they call it green cremation or something like that.
Something. Yeah. I heard about it. That's really interesting. Now they've also got it where you can go into a pod and just like rot naturally too, right?
Yeah, they'll plant a tree over you or something like that.
Don't you think eventually cemeteries are not going to be allowed?
You know, we're in a unique situation in this country. A lot of other countries lease the land to you for a certain amount of time because let's just be honest, even if you had a ton of followers, after a certain amount of decades, nobody that's alive cares about you anymore.
Exactly.
So
truthfully.
they exhume your body, and I'm assuming they either cremate you or throw you in a mass grave somewhere and give the site to somebody else.
Well, I just assume we just stop doing that.
It's a little ghoulish.
Why? I mean, it's no.
They got bodies and burn them or whatever. But I mean, it's like it's an eternal resting place. While you and I may not believe in a lot of that, once you're dead, your body's just a body. But there are people there are still people who are like, oh, your great grandpa Chuck lays right here, and it's like,
no, his
who's that dude?
Decimated freaking bones are there. That's all. Actually, and it's even worse because his vault that you paid a crap ton of money for, that's full of water, and his rotted casket is all that's left down there. And by the way, it's only like 3.5, 4 feet down.
Nor can you even read the tombstones at some point.
No.
So something interesting. There's actually a group of people out there that go and they restore tombstones.
I saw that. There was a guy on TikTok that goes and soft washes them and stuff. Like,
it's pretty cool.
It's pretty interesting.
My point is, you can't just because a grave is 150 years old or whatever, you can't just go over and like exhume the body and everything, because there are still families who are like, look, that spot was paid for by whomever for their eternal resting place, and as far as they're concerned, that person's laying there until the earth burns up, explodes, gets hit by a mighty asteroid.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with people's burial practices. Like, you do what you want to do. You want to be cremated, you want to be buried, whatever. But I do have a problem with that. Eventually, it's going to be unsustainable.
That's what I was saying. At some point,
you run out of land to bury people.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I definitely understand the conundrum.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely understand it.
If you look at it, the natural process is for you to die and rot and go back to the earth. And animals eat your bones, or whatever's left over gets dragged away, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, nature does a pretty good job of that. You don't walk out in the woods and see dead deer carcasses everywhere. They're gone.
But you see dead bones. You see deer bones and things like that.
But they're not around forever.
Well, no, not forever. I don't know. There's just a lot of, there are a lot. Can we kill that?
I can't turn it off. It's on the chain. Hold on a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
So tonight's show is going to have to come with an epileptic warning, I guess, or something, because we've got a light that's kind of fun here. It is fixed. I will say we do have two 12-inch by 12-inch panels coming here soon. So my friend Kelly has decided to donate those to us. So
are they DMX?
I don't know that they are.
No.
So we'll find out.
Okay.
I don't know that they are.
They're
knee-worth, so probably not.
Yeah, they're just regular then.
But, I mean, the extra light, I mean, we could, I'm sure if they're knee-worth, they're battery operated or whatever. But anyway, prearrangement. What did you decide? If you decide to do cremation, you can give
or what about
Rebecca
just giving the bodies back to, the scientists?
Yeah, that's what my dad did.
Yeah. But that actually cost.
Didn't cost us.
My sister and my brother, we were just talking about this. They've got their stuff all lined up, for when that day comes.
Yeah.
And it's like $1,000 each.
Really?
So just the cost of transportation.
I guess.
And all that,
there may be some documentation stuff or whatever. But so when my dad passed away, he was a donor. They literally took him from the hospital here in town, took him somewhere took his corneas out and donated his corneas to someone, and that was really kind of a neat process. But then they, returned his body to the funeral home, and then we had him cremated. But we didn't have to pay anything for that. Like that wasn't anything we paid for.
I'm big on the donor thing. The whole.
Yeah.
Are you guys donors?
Yeah, I'm a donor.
I almost wish that it was set up to where you had to opt
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, we have.
Why?
I got thoughts on that also.
Well, because they might just do you in to get what you got.
Because here's the thing, like they already the process. People think that it's like that's your whole loved one sitting there. If there's an autopsy performed, like it ain't the way that it was before. It's just a carcass. I mean, that sounds super disrespectful, but like. There's nothing left of your grandma, bastard. Mom. Yeah, you call me. I've been called worse, buddy.
But better, I'm sure.
Where's Rebecca when we need her? This is right up her alley.
Oh, this would be right up her alley.
It really is. But like, it's just a carcass. Your grandma's not there anymore. Your aunt, your mom, your sister, brother, whatever. Not there anymore. They're gone. What, the whole process that God designed is the decomposition.
Not everybody believes in God.
I know, but you don't have to believe in God to realize that the process is decomposition. If I kill a cat or a mouse or a raccoon and I throw it in the backyard, it doesn't stay a cat, mouse, or raccoon for all eternity, embalmed in this perfect sleep. Like, what's the point?
Well, here's the thing. The point is
interesting.
So yeah, here's the point. The point is choice, and you can't have an assumed choice by our rights.
No.
Our rights say that we have the right to do with our bodies whatever we want. As long as we're not hurting, anybody else's body or anybody else or anything like that, we have the right to do with our bodies whatever we want, which is why you can't just assume somebody really wants to be donated to science. That's why I think the organ donor process is an opt-in option instead of an opt-out. Because what if someone ever gets a driver's license, or something like that? Then you can't just assume that they want their body donated to science. Maybe they hate science. Maybe their particular religion forbids them from getting a driver's license or any kind of state identification or something like that.
But if everybody was a donor, it wouldn't matter.
It would matter, though, because
they still get a state ID that would opt them out.
Not if they don't need a state ID. There are a lot of people out there that don't have state IDs. Maybe their only form of identification is just a social security card. Maybe some people don't even have that. It's why we have the big thing with voter fraud and things like that, because people shouldn't be forced to get state ID so they can vote, so they can identify themselves.
I think they should, though.
I agree with you. I think you should be. I think you should legally be required to get some sort of visual photo ID
for any other process in this country that's important for driving, for doing, for traveling, for whatever. You have to get a photo ID. So my whole question behind that to political parties that are completely against voter ID is, what are you afraid of that you will not make folks get an ID to do what's right for the country, to prove that they are a legal voting citizen versus to travel out of the country or to do this or do that? And listen, it's been proposed not even to make it a legit ID. It's a one-time thing. You get like a voter registration thing where you go in and, hey, I've proven this is me.
Yeah.
I'm voting. I'm done. And now I can throw it away. And it's right. So we're not even in like forcing everybody to get an ID, because there'll be a group of people that are like, oh, well, you're forcing me to identify myself.
Right. You can't even use your insurance at the doctor's office without your driver's license.
Yeah, it's for everything. You've got to have.
You got to have a state ID of some sort to use your insurance. I just went through this just like last week when I mentioned I wasn't feeling well. I did not take my driver's license with me. I had just taken my debit cards. I knew there was going to be a copay.
Yep,
I knew they had my insurance card on file. And she's like, well, we need.
You know why they do that, right?
To make sure I'm not giving my card off to someone else.
So that you can't tell your best friend, we'll just go into the doctor and give him the card and say
so they don't look at my insurance information later on. Say, oh, Mr. Hill, I see you had a baby back in 2018.
That's right. I was Mrs. Hill.
So we are living in a world you have to have identification.
Except for a few things, which doesn't make sense to me. And, to keep from getting overly political or something like that. You know,
Well, I mean, this
that's-
is the whatever show, right?
it is the whatever show. You're right. You're absolutely right.
You be political as you want to be.
So I do think that you should. Voting is one of those things that it's an important process. Both parties really push it as part of an important process of democracy in that. And yeah, and no, I know we're a republic, but that's kind of a
Yeah, we'll
the
just
whole
let
voting
that go.
thing. Yeah. But as part of the process, I think that voting is something you should have to have
I
a
do
picture
too.
ID for. You have to have a picture ID to have cigarettes. To buy cigarettes, rather, you have to have a picture ID to buy alcohol.
We do a
You
lot
know.
of jacked up things, though. I mean, like literally, I can take my voter registration and go down to if I can figure out where my voting
Voting
station
poll
is,
is at, yeah.
right, and I could just tell my buddy go vote as me.
Yeah.
And
That's messed
and
up.
there are some of those polling stations that will ask for your ID. They're not supposed to, but
Right.
they do. And I'm not
Right,
ever
and
going
they
to say
can't
anything
deny
about it.
you to vote if
Right.
you don't have your
If
ID.
I'm like,
with
you know, screw you, I'm not showing you my ID. I'm
Yeah.
William McElroy. I want to vote. And I mean, they're going to give me the ballot and I'm going to go vote. Now, that's an incredibly important process in this country. Like probably one of the most important public
Agreed.
processes in this country is to vote for the president of the United States, local elections, state
Yeah.
elections, all these things. And I can cheat my butt off at that anytime I want to.
Yeah.
I could go find folks that just so happen to still have their registration in there and they've passed away and it's still in there. And I could go for them if I wanted to. Easy.
And
Because
thanks
there's
to
no
Nick
ID.
Drago, I now feed into that I don't necessarily trust.
Nick
Well,
has
and-
opened your eyes.
Oh, yeah, he
Well,
has.
and then mail-in ballots too. That's a whole load of crap.
That's a yeah.
Now, for the armed forces, yes, you got to have it mailed to you. You make your
Right.
selection, you mail it back. But like, there's way too much secure technology to not have us doing things that are better than the current process.
I would even be
Yeah.
okay with vote by phone, to be honest with you.
I mean, what was Gabriel Iglesias is like? Come on, just make it like American Idol. You know?
Right.
Vote
5 votes per person, you know?
right. He
Yeah,
did-
I would go for it. You know,
So-
speaking of Nick, he really has made me question so many things. And he came across my mind the other day. I think it was yesterday. All these days have run into each other, where it was the 37th anniversary of the Challenger exploding.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I kind of did a little thing on the 620 of, do you remember where you were? These are just things in your lifetime you kind of remember what you were doing
Yeah.
or where you heard it at. And the famous or infamous Darren Miller
Mhm.
posted on there a picture
Infamous Darren Miller.
he posted a picture of the astronauts then and them.
Now,
Now, yeah.
I
was
have,
like,
there's a
Nick,
big conspiracy.
Where
So-
are you?
so
Nick
I
has
have-
talked about that
yeah.
before. I
Yeah.
believe.
I have seen those pictures, and I've seen like if you look at those pictures and the similarities, I mean, it's spot on. And there's a lot of stuff. I don't know. Nick got into that stuff, and I've been digging into it, and then I
Yeah.
got my dad digging into it too, and
Well, our government does some pretty shady stuff. So
he does. They do. He does. No, well, he does.
Do you remember where you were during the Challenger?
Yeah, I was 2 years old.
I was in middle school when it happened. Yeah.
Or not?
I was 1984, right?
Really? No.
86.
87.
86.
Oh, okay, so I was in.
It was
86.
I was in
wasn't
school.
No, 86.
Then I was in school.
Positive it was 86.
You're right. You're right. You're
I
right.
know that because my son was born December of 85 and he was just a couple weeks old, and that's why I was at home.
Are you looking this up, Engineer Bill?
Yeah,
All right, I'm a little curious about that.
Okay,
I thought it
Kim's
was
right, though.
87.
she probably is.
I am.
Well, I'm not going to deny that, but
Yeah. My little boy was like 6 weeks old. And that's
Gotcha.
why I was at home.
January 28th, 1986.
Yeah.
86. All right. You've got me this time, Pearson.
And honestly, I even was honest about it. I was probably, I think, 21 at the time, 21, something like that. And watching it intently was,
Mhm.
To watch it. And I had never seen any kind of thing like that before.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Go
I
ahead.
honestly did not know that something had went wrong because they had talked about the boosters falling off.
Yeah, you're like, oh well, it's coming
Yeah.
off, and
So when that
There's more
happened,
information about that, by the way.
I did not think there was a single thing wrong until because it was a teacher on board,
Mhm.
they had all of the families out there.
Right.
And when it panned the camera to the families, they were just looking up and just distraught. And then you're like,
What happened? Yeah.
and
The
when
sad
no
thing
one
is-
said anything on TV,
Yeah.
when the announcers
Dead
stopped
silence.
talking,
Yeah.
and all you could see was the faces, I knew then, like,
It was almost
what
a Kennedy
happened.
assassination moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. I'm curious about, what was going on in the world at that point, because at the time I don't even think I was 13 yet. Maybe I was 86. Yeah, I was January of 86. No, I wasn't 13 yet. But I'm almost curious as to what distraction may have been, that may have been, because I've seen the picture that you're talking about, Bill, about the Challenger crew then and now. I've seen that.
Yeah, it's on the 620.
Yeah, and then there was an article today also that came up that said something about one of the astronauts on there, that there was an air pack or something. I'm going to read more into it because I literally glanced at it before I came in tonight, so I don't want to talk a whole lot about it because I have no clue what the actual article was. It could have been clickbait, but it's interesting that you bring that up, and so it's also interesting that you bring Nick up about that, because he sent me something earlier today about Amelia Earhart, and that this guy thinks that they may have found her plane that crashed over the South Pacific.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, that's always been a story that's kind of caught my eye a little bit, but nothing that I know a whole lot about. So I'm interested in hearing that. And Miss Rebecca has told us that she is listening, which is
good.
awesome. So she's been very busy here recently, which is why she's not joining us tonight. But business has been good, which is great for the funeral home. Not so much for other families, but. So she's just working her fingers to the bone tonight. She says
Literally,
she's listening
right?
to, yeah.
Wow.
Was there a distraction in at that time frame?
So there
Chuck
was
alluded to?
there was a guerrilla war going on in Uganda at the time. 500,000 people were believed to be killed. Let's see. It was a dictator going on. Then the Challenger space shuttle
That
exploded.
was around Noriega, was it?
No. And then I would butcher this name, Yoweri Museveni was sworn in as president of Uganda right after the next day.
Well, I was just curious about that, but it's something I'd love to chat with Nick about sometime when he's on. So if you're listening, brother, let's talk about that next time you're on also, because it kind of plays into the whole crisis actors thing, and
some of the former NASA engineers were talking in one of the documentaries that I watched, saying that likely, very, very likely, almost 100% likely, that they were alive the entire trip down.
Damn.
Oh, I would hate that.
Yeah, because it did not destroy the capsule. The capsule's designed for re-entry and impact and all that other stuff, and it was just the rocket booster that blew up below it. And
so it probably would have been the impact of the capsule hitting
the ground
as opposed to the explosion.
Right. They were not dead.
Wow. That's terrifying to hear.
Yes, it is.
Like that's like suck with a capital S, you know. I mean,
I would imagine the rock of the explosion and the G forces and all that stuff probably put them out.
Unconscious, made them unconscious. Yeah.
Or if they were, it was so quick that it happened that, terrified. Not quite as quick as that Titan sub that imploded, but
wow.
Yeah.
That was crazy too.
They died quick though. You got to understand, under that kind of pressure, an implosion is like boom. Your brainstem doesn't have enough time to process pain. It's that quick.
I was reading an article today that was talking about when people die, again, back onto the death thing, that when there's scientific evidence that shows that when a person dies, that they live long enough to know that they're dead.
That would have to be terrifying too.
I guess it depends on where you're at in your sense of being,
True. I guess.
If you know you're dying and you're about to die, then having that final moment of knowing, okay, it's over. people were here with me when I died. I'm dead. I'm ready to go wherever I'm going next, you know? But yeah, that was an interesting little snippet of information. So, you afraid to die?
Well, nobody wants to.
No, I think there are some people who want to. Like some people are ready to go. I mean, to be honest with you,
I think the thought of being immortal scares the crap out of me
Yeah.
worse than the thought of being mortal. I mean, imagine if you lived for 3,000 years, you'd be incredibly bored. Especially like you'd probably, if you could commit suicide, you would. I'm sure because it would just get like I don't even want to be here anymore. Like
100 years, I'm ready to go.
Right, you know, and especially
I don't know.
Especially when you get old if you are one of the unfortunate many actually that get old and have mobility issues or just like can't do things and you're just sitting there and you're sitting around your house and watching daytime shows and that's all you're doing.
That's enough
like,
to make you want to cut your wrist. But
bro, like eventually, you know, maybe if I could spend, you know, a few hundred years like going and doing like literally everything in the world and I was healthy and I was like, you know, like rocking like a teenage health level or something like that, then absolutely. But if I gotta, you know, be 100 years old and frail and barely making it and living on United States Social Security and Medicare
people all the time,
no.
David is a very, very active and healthy 81-year-old. Nor does he look it or act it. I mean, he still rides a motorcycle.
Ride or die, you know, so he's on the right side of things.
His family has longevity and they're, you know, his parents lived into their late 90s.
But he's in the minority for that then because most people his age are not very well off.
Right. You know? I mean, David's on very little medication, if any. He may not even be on that cholesterol stuff anymore.
He may outlive you. The last laugh may be
you
on
don't make,
you know?
That's right. You don't make plans. Absolutely. We're getting ready to be 39 years of marriage here in like a month.
Nice.
You guys going out?
No. No. Together?
Like for your anniversary or something? No?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we'll probably say something about it during the day.
Babe, happy anniversary. Oh, yeah, you too.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be it right there.
He'll say something like, we got married on March 1st, and he'll say something predictable like, beware of the eyes of March, or whatever that might mean, saying.
Yeah.
No. And yeah, I probably will go out.
But not with him.
Yeah.
Hey, no laugh.
What day of the week does it fall on? I can tell you now for sure.
Dave, I know you don't watch the show, but maybe someone will tell you this. And I say someone because it's obviously not going to be your wife. When it comes down to your anniversary, March 1st, you said?
March 1st. Yeah.
We're taking you out, brother. Like, we're going to celebrate your anniversary.
You got to find out what
he's a goer, not he'd take you to the casino, have a few highballs.
That's a Friday.
Highballs.
Yes.
Isn't that what River Phoenix died from?
No.
What was it he died from? Something.
Those were probably 8 balls.
Like
yeah, let me look.
8 ball.
Okay. I got more
Something.
information
Highball
look up in this show. Yeah,
highball's a drink, I know it's a drink, but I thought there was something else like
David goes to rock and roll concerts, goes to the casinos. He's got his own thing. I guess he'll be celebrating it somewhere.
He died from combined drug intoxication.
Right, but didn't they call it something like maybe it was a speedball or 8 ball or something like that? I don't know.
Cocaine and heroin, known as a speedball.
Speedball. Okay.
He was only 23.
Yep,
yeah,
23.
He was young.
Oh wow,
he was a young guy.
Yeah, he was up and coming hardcore.
Yeah,
took a little too much, I guess.
He played young Indiana Jones. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yep, on TV.
And we were going to talk about TV.
What a segue,
yeah.
Huh? Do you know how to segue them or not? You know?
Can we just be happy that the 3 Chicagos are back?
The 3 So which ones? I know there's Chicago Fire,
PD,
Chicago PD. Is it Chicago
Med.
Hope or Chicago Med?
Med.
Wasn't there one called Chicago Hope a while back?
I thought so.
Like
and then
now I got to look that up too. Thanks, Chuck. Jeez.
Hey, we're putting your fingers to work tonight.
And there was Chicago Justice, and you could watch, how it would kind of go all the way through, but that hasn't been on in several years. But I'm very happy. I love.
In 1994, Chuck,
Chicago Hope.
Yes.
I'm old, man. What can I say?
It was a hospital show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
With Dr. What was it, Marcus Welby? I don't know.
I think that was a little before '94.
Oh, the
that
fact
was
that
probably
you know
74.
that.
Marcus
See.
Welby, MD.
Yes.
Oh yeah. When I would
Oh.
go to my grandma's house, we would watch old TV shows. Like that's what we would watch, And then my dad would watch Nick at Night every once in a while, which had, older TV shows. I mean, I remember Barnaby Jones.
I love Barnaby Jones.
Spencer for Hire. Do you remember Spencer
Yes.
for Hire?
Yep.
What was another one? What was the Barnaby? There was another Barnaby, where he was a doctor or something like that. I don't remember it. But then there was Fall Guy. Did you see that?
No, that one doesn't come to mind.
Yeah, that had Lee Majors in it. And I think it was Lee Majors and Marky Post
Sounds
were
about
in
right,
that,
yeah.
and they're actually making a movie, a Fall Guy movie. I think it's got Ryan Gosling in it.
Yeah.
So it's like there are no new ideas in Hollywood. Like
There are
really
not. They just
So is the actor strike thing over?
yeah.
No, that was writer's strike,
Yeah.
and then all the actors jumped on to be in solidarity.
Okay, so that's over.
That's over now.
Did the AI win or did the writers win?
I think there was a combination of the two. Like,
I think they knew that AI was going to start writing scripts if they
Yeah.
didn't do something.
yeah,
But I do believe they came to a worthwhile compromise. But I think in this day and age, I would just be really careful about how far I press my union rights, because
well, it
you
wasn't
can
just
be easily replaced pretty easily in these days.
Oh my gosh, which just brings me to something at Sam's.
Mhm.
We all shop at Sam's, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
Costco.
So I love Costco too. We have a membership there also. Sam's just found this out. I had read the article and we happened to be at Sam's the other day when walking out the door when I started talking about it, and a worker overheard me and we had a conversation. When you're walking out of Sam's, you got to show them your receipt.
Yep.
Facebook
And they
heard you
just
too.
do 3 things in your cart.
Yeah, I did verify.
Random 3
Yep.
things.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going away.
AI.
There will be a metal tunnel you walk through,
Mhm.
a trestle
Mm-hmm.
that you will scan your receipt with, and it will make sure everything on that receipt is in that cart and nothing else.
Amazon has already started something
Like,
like
oh
that.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's their walkout thing. Amazon's
And I-
walkout thing.
Mhm.
The guy that was checking our receipt heard me, and he said, "Yeah, that's already. We're getting ours soon here." And this was at the Glen Carbon one, I
Yeah.
believe.
So I was in the Dallas airport and they had one of those buy and go things, and you literally just scan a QR code on your phone, let you in. There's so many cameras and sensors in there.
Mhm.
It watches what you take, and if you put it back on the shelf or you lay it down, it doesn't charge you for it. But you just walk in, grab what you want, and like you could stuff it in your pockets, whatever you want to do, and you walk out, and it charges your Amazon account. Done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Arrowhead Stadium was that way when we went to go see the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks concert.
Mhm.
Like we walked in, you put your debit card in, you take it out, it charges $25 to your card automatically, right? You go in, you pick your hot dog, your nachos, your pretzel, your soda, or whatever your beer, whatever it is that you're getting. And like there are cameras overhead, like you said, that see what you got. There are sensors in the refrigerator that can tell exactly what you got from the weight of
Yep.
it, subtracts that weight. And then when you leave, they will either credit you back the difference or they'll subtract the difference on your card. And there are no people that you have to deal with.
Wow.
Everyone's in the back. And then get this. There's even a tip option. Like, who am I
Who am
going
I
to
going
tip?
to tip?
Right. The AI, the
No.
robots are working
Right.
hard today,
No.
guys.
I'm going to tip myself 10%. Thank you very much.
I want to make a
No.
prediction, and I predict that with the advent of this technology, like you and I were just saying, Amazon's pretty much perfected that.
Yeah.
It works really well for them, and their studies have shown that it's really accurate too. I would say that within the next, I'm going to push it out there and go a little further than what I really want to go. I'd say in the next 5 years, you are going to see major stores do 2 things. Number one, they will say you get a significant discount for using card transactions. And then after that, they will go to card only, because if I can capture your card details and verify that it's a valid card, when you walk in the store, you're not going to steal from me, because I'll use that technology, and anything that you pick up and take out, you got charged for.
Yeah. So there are a lot of places now that actually give you a discount if you use cash because of the processing fees that the banks charge. I mean, that 3% can add up, which kind of sucks, but it does. Hey, I want to take a break here real quick, and then we'll get back into talking a little bit about this. Breaking news. No, I'm kidding. We're actually, I just want to, just invite you guys, if you have comments, questions, complaints, whatever, you want to call us out on some kind of crap that we give you. I'm going to post a link down here. Just posted it in the comment section.
Contact Kim Pearson at
contact your Ward 3 alderman at but
at
yeah,
20. What is the name? What is the address of City Hall? I have my own mailbox there, by the way.
She loves
that's right. You do.
She's not going to have it for another year.
I'm going to send you something to your mailbox.
Please do. Random. No one has yet.
I'll just send you something random.
Okay. So anyway, we're coming to you guys live tonight from Studio B, right behind Garden Gate Tea Room, right in front of Studio C, and right here in the Bees Novel Idea Complex. Right, that's kind of what it is. So we have the Board Gamery across from us, and then we have Downtown Diner right down from us as well. So come down here, support those guys, and support these businesses because they help us get the show to you guys every week. They give us a nice warm spot to do it. And we love to do it. So, anyway, just want to make sure that we thank Brenda for, providing the space for us to do that. If you have a desire to do your own podcast, we don't give a crap what you want it to be about. Come down here and talk to us, and we'll get you set up down here as well. So you can just kind of let your voice be heard if you want. You want to talk about art? Talk about art. You want to talk about music? Talk about music. You want to talk about adult things? Talk about adult things. That's one of the great things about the internet and individual podcasts. So, but yeah, let us know if you guys are interested. Come down here. They've got great food, great drink, and it's just a great time. There's also conference rental space down here, and there's a super, super cool relaxing room in a Board Gamery that I saw this weekend. It's very homey. You just kind of sit there.
It is.
Read. You know what room I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah, you just sit there.
It has its own name.
Does it? What's the name of it?
It is the Boardroom.
The Boardroom. Come down here and check this place out, guys. If you're looking for coffee in the afternoons on a weekend, come down here and check out as well. Check Facebook for all our hours that we don't miss anything or anything like that. So come on down and check it out. We are very thankful here. Also, we're thankful that, we do have new family members here, the guys over at Mostly Hockey that are on Thursdays at 7:15.
Thank you for the little love notes.
Yeah, these guys.
I appreciate this.
Oh, I feel left out.
You just have to look for you guys have one. You just don't look for them. Mine says, have fun. We did Mostly Hockey.
Yeah, mine just says, have a great show. Mostly Hockey. Thank you. And let me say,
I didn't get one.
I'm sorry.
Tim, I'm not sure if you're watching or not. And Justin and Daryl, I have to apologize to you for the harassment you got on your show Thursday about someone asking where Chuck Hill was. We're going to fix that situation, I promise you. Yeah.
Chuck's running that dude out of town.
That's right. His ass is gone. He is gone. But anyway, yeah. Also, if you guys want to join our show right now live, click those links down there, and then you guys can join us also. You can do just voice, audio. You can do video or whatever. But yeah, we'd love to have your feedback.
We must not have anybody like registering their stuff with the system because they're all Facebook users tonight. Yeah, so the top 2 Facebook users, those are Miss Rebecca Sunshine. Okay. So I know who that is. And then Howdy Partners, not sure who that is. If you could comment your name, that'll help us out. And then I Love Our City too. Comment your name so we just kind of know who you guys are.
And I hope one of our watchers is Shelly Penrod.
Yes. Shout out to Shelly tonight.
Yeah. She's one of our top fans. Always talks well of our show. She has been at our window many times. And she's going through a little bit of a health scare, and it happened out of state, which is even scarier when things happen. But she is on the mend. And last time I talked to her today, she was heading back towards Illinois and Granite City. So let's hope she's home resting and listening to the show. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Shelly, our thoughts and prayers go out to you for sure. So this is funny.
My daughter, I'm pretty sure, is the one who posted this because she says it's your favorite child. She's really the only one who says your favorite child. I always have to say you're my favorite daughter or you're my favorite son, but she's pretty much the only one who says my favorite child.
Well,
If I'm wrong, correct me, but I'm almost going to bet that Shelby. So anyway, so yeah, guys, come on to the show if you want. That's one of the fun things about our show is you can actually be a part of it. So yeah, anyway, back to the cashless and the debit card thing.
Yeah.
So many businesses now are offering that incentive. It's funny because it's an incentive for you to pay cash, but it's a punishment for you to pay with a card because they charge you the extra 3% now.
Yeah.
So it's really because it's not, I don't feel that it's fair to charge someone to have to use their form of cash payment. However, I don't think it's fair to have someone go out and carry cash because a lot of people don't carry cash now.
But I do think as a business owner, it is also very unfair for you to assume that as a business owner, for the convenience of you swiping your card and being cashless yourself, that I should eat the 2.7%.
It's unfair for the business owner.
It's unfair for the business owner to have to eat the 2.7% because here's the thing. If you come in and you pay with cash, then it's golden. I don't get any of those fees.
True.
So you're saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, for the convenience of me being able to carry a piece of plastic that I prefer to manage much more than actual cash, you're going to eat 2.7% and just suck it up, Buttercup. Like, no.
So who should pay it? Should the customer, you feel the customer should pay it as a convenience
If that's
fee?
the way that we're going to continue in the world of processing transactions, which is the way that most of these new like Toast and Square and all these places make their money. They don't make their money off of the service because you can get Square or any of these little point of sale systems for free. Like I can open a Square account right now on my phone and plug in one of those free readers that they'll send to you because they know they're going to get that 2.7% and 10 cents per swipe. And even more if I got to enter the card number manually. So that's even, it's like 30 cents.
Yeah. There's an additional fee for that. Yeah.
Right. So I don't think it's fair owning a small business myself that you just assume that I should just eat 2.7%
it's
of
not
my revenue.
fair.
It's not.
And it's even worse when there's service type businesses and you put a tip on it.
Yep, because now you're increasing that 2.7%.
I am so conscious now. I will use my card, but for example, for pizza, I will definitely use my card. It's just easier to do it on the app, but I'm going to tip that driver in person cash.
I don't think that
I try anyway.
I don't think that the current model of the processing fees being so expensive, and listen, like 2.7% doesn't sound like a lot, but depending on the amount of the purchase and the amount of times that's over and over and over again during a day, it can be quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that's sustainable because we will move closer and closer to a cashless society.
Right.
As much as the people are out there screaming right now, I'll never not have cash. Yeah, well, by the time it happens, you'll be dead. So nobody cares. You know what? Here's the deal. Your kids and the generation that's relevant right now doesn't give a flying crap about cash. It's almost an inconvenience to them. So
it's an inconvenience to a lot of people.
It's an inconvenience to me. And I'm 41 years old, I remember a day when, if you were using a credit card, it was the whole imprint process and
Oh, right.
And,
send it off and hopefully got your check the next 30 days or something.
Exactly. I mean, like that's the thing. Like back then it was there was no running it right. If you went to a store that could run it with your mag stripe, you were in a fancy store. Like they had the tech,
money,
but it was usually like, oh, I'll run your card and they imprint the card number on it and all that stuff, and you just hope and pray that you have enough on your balance for Visa or whoever else to.
Even if you didn't, you still got the merchandise.
You did.
So then it was just an overdraft fee from the credit card
from the credit card companies, right? But they got that technology out there to process those in an instant to avoid that, because I'm sure they were eating a lot of. Because I mean, crap, you could have taken dead grandma's credit card out to the freaking mall and swipey swipe and imprint it 20 times and
back to death.
They're never going to know,
Boy, we can't seem to get away from it.
I know,
right?
crazy. But yeah, no, I really believe that that's the way to go. Cash will be the very lesser known thing. I mean, it's I know that people conspiracy theorize that that's like the downfall and all that stuff, but I mean, it's just the logical process. Everything's digital, cash is old.
It's just closer to a one world currency. I mean, right now it's plastic. Everybody takes it. Every country takes it.
Yeah.
So right now we're just kind of dwindling down to quite literally a one world currency, and it's plastic.
And back in the day, I'm sure people were like, "Oh, never going to get rid of my gold or my silver."
Right.
And
that's doubloons.
That's total crap. I can't believe I'm never going to get. I'll be a cold dead body. Well, you are, and it's gone. So
yeah. So my thought process I take PayPal also. I take PayPal. I take Venmo. I don't do Stripe, but like when I do, like credit card transactions or whatever, I pay. I think it's 2.3% is what I pay. I pay it because my margin it covers that.
Yep.
And also I have always felt, and maybe I need to change my thinking, I don't know. I've always felt that it's one of the evil necessities of doing business. People want credit cards. They want to pay with a debit card or something like that. And so I just cover my cost with what I built into whatever it is I'm selling.
Well, and if you're really, really worried about it, you can very easily go into any one of these point of sale systems, and it'll let you set a tax rate. It actually let you set multiple tax rates. So you could go in there and put your, whatever the local tax is, 8.5. I don't remember what it is now, 8.5%, whatever. And then you can put a second one in there that's, credit fee 2.7%, and 99.999% of the time, nobody's going to notice, nor are they going to care, because they're going to look in there like, oh, what's this? Oh yeah, for using the credit card. Because it's becoming more and more normal. I mean, you see gas stations now too that are just like, cash and credit prices on their fuel.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a difference. Here's what I don't like about the gas stuff. So, first of all, someone says I use cash when I don't want my card amount to change. It's like the money never existed because my bank account didn't change. Then they say,
"Girl math."
I get that.
So, on the gas thing, here's what. Corporations, banks, credit unions, whatever it is, financial institutions is probably the best way to put this. They're going to do whatever they can to, I guess, in one way, it's protect your assets. And another way, I think I don't know if I can classify it as corporate greed or not, but used to, when you would, pre-authorize your debit card or something like that for gas, it was like $70.
Yep.
Not many people get $70 in gas. But then when the price of gas shot up astronomically,
is more.
It went up to $175.
Which is why I don't use my card at the pump.
Yeah. Now, granted, that money goes right back to your account after you pump it or whatever.
Sometimes up to 3 days, though.
Yeah, QT has held mine for 3 days before. Debit cards is usually immediate. If you ever use a credit card, though, check your credit card available amount. Though sometimes that pre-authorization is stuck on your account for 5 to 10 business days, can be 3 in some cases. But yeah, they now charge you up to $175 that they hold on your card until you're done pumping.
So if you're one of those people that wants to just, I don't know how much gas is going to go in my car, I just want to fill it up.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go in and tell them, give me about $50 on pump 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
You can get a QT pump start card, and I'll actually come on camera for this. It's
okay.
A pump start card. You go in and you tell them, hey, I want a pump start card. They take your driver's license information. That way, if you run off without paying for gas, they can hold you accountable. But you can put this in the pump and it will start your pump just like it did in the old days, where you walk up and just flip it up and they just start your pump. But you put this in and then you go pay the cashier.
Yeah, now, Mr. Dave does have that.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't use debit and he doesn't use anything else.
Yep. So
the kind ladies at his Quick Trip, we have separate Quick Trips.
Why does that not surprise me?
They hooked him up with that card. So.
You guys have separate beds?
Yeah, actually we do now.
Really?
Yeah, out of convenience. David had hernia surgery, so he can't go up our 14 stairs to the loft.
You have separate bedrooms then, don't you?
Well, he has the family room at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I have a gorgeous bedroom.
You put him on the couch?
I'd prefer he stay there too. Yeah. He is Quick Trip
Dang.
South.
He's
And
what?
he's Quick Trip South, here.
Okay.
I'm Quick Trip North.
That's my Quick Trip.
And we
I don't go to
don't
Quick
mess
Trip
with those
anymore.
two things.
Unless I have to. I don't have a particular reason why. I just
So I made a habit when I was a technician of going to Quick Trip because it was the cleanest gas station around.
yeah, that's true.
Ever. You go to Shell or any other off the wall, and you're gonna, oof.
Well, he's got this thing that I guess we just always had this mindset he has that he's always put Quick Trip gas in his car.
Yeah, they do have great gas.
That's the way it is. He hates the way the North QT is set up for gas.
Mm,
It is a little bit more inconvenient,
I guess.
But that's mine.
I try to go to Missouri to get my gas now when I can, to be honest with you.
It is cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper. It's
You
like
you
30
would not
cents a
believe,
gallon
though. Now,
cheaper.
Quick Trip, I believe, is an exception to the rule, but most of the other little Midwest Petroleum and Joe Schmo's Shell gas station, it's all from the same place.
Yeah.
I don't get that Shell gas because it makes my car run weird. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all because it's all from the same freaking place.
Use Upstart.
Huh?
Do you use Upstart?
No. Mm-mm.
I think that's the name of the Rebecca, you can help me. I think that's the name of the app. If I remember to use it, I'll use it. She uses it a lot. And man, that woman saves money like you wouldn't believe on gas. It's crazy. Saves money, gets rewards and things like that. Quick Trip is not on Upstart though.
Huh. Well, gas stations make very, very, very little profit on fuel.
Right.
Like their fuel is there because they know you need it, and that will draw you into their convenience store.
Yeah.
You don't see, and that's the exact reason why you don't see stores that just sell gasoline and that's it. Because there'd be no profit in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at one point in time, I knew a guy that I did some work for with Tech Doc. This has been years ago. And I think he said he made, if he was lucky, 2 cents a gallon at the most.
Wow. Yeah. So I had a Upside. That's the name of it, not Upstart. Years ago, I used to work for Casey's down in Southeast Missouri. And I'm talking, this was early 90s, right? So I worked, the lady who was in charge there, she would literally watch the gas station up the street from us to see what their gas prices were. Mm-hmm. If their prices went down, Casey's prices went down.
Yes. That is still a thing, actually, with Casey's.
Is it?
Yes. One of my mommies is a manager at Casey's, and on her way in at 4 o'clock, whatever it is in the morning, she checks all the prices, and Casey's is always 1 penny less.
Really? Yep. Interesting. Yeah, I know that Upside app that Rebecca uses. It's a pretty good app, and I really kick myself a lot because I have it. I just don't remember to use it.
If you think that's a great tactic, if you lower your fuel price by a penny, and people go, they're going to use your convenience store. And
absolutely.
And that the prices in a Quick Trip or a Casey's or whatever are marked up because of the convenience, but you're there and you're going to pay for it.
And Casey's does have those fresh donuts.
I gotta tell you, Casey's
and awesome pizza.
And awesome breakfast.
You don't like their pizza?
I said awesome pizza.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love their breakfast pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. The breakfast pizza kicks ass.
Yes,
I mean,
it
there's
does.
no other breakfast pizza that I've ever had that touches
agree.
their breakfast pizza. And their taco pizza, when they make it right, is fan-freaking-tastic.
I've stopped using the word best, so I'm going to take that back for a second. It is one of my favorite.
It's already on the internet. You
Yeah,
can't take it back.
I'm taking it back.
Done.
It's one of my most favorite.
Don't pay any attention to what she says as an older person because she takes it back.
She likes to take things back.
Absolutely. That's why if you guys came to the councils, you would know that we have second call. Like, we don't just vote once. We go around once and then we go around again.
Did you
just in case you change your mind?
Just in case.
Did they implement that since you came on board?
Keep that shit straight. You know what? Maybe. I'll have to ask.
It's the Kim Pearson principle or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, I just recently got the laptop from there. I think I'm in for a little
Kim
while.
Pearson Act.
I thought for sure
Kim Pearson Act.
I wasn't going to get it. I mean, like, got the whole ID, got the laptop. I'm like, wow, this is.
Now, there are certain things you can't look at on that laptop, right?
We didn't have a class about that.
Well, I see another service that Tech Doc needs to offer the city then.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. user consultation,
internet safety training,
yep, new user orientation. You can contact
ethical work practices.
Well, we're talking about government here, you know. So
Oh, wait, semi-ethical work practices.
There you go. Acceptable ethical work practices.
right.
There you go. Yeah, awesome. So, yeah, So Casey's, I like Casey's. Their pizza's good. They're and you got to get the sausage breakfast pizza.
I do love their breakfast pizza. I will say I like Quick Trip. I like how clean it is. I like how they're always stocked, convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Their pizza is trash.
Do you guys have a favorite convenience store out there? I'm really trying to pull you guys in here. You know, give us some comments. I got a couple people here, which is great. I love that.
I love Hit and Run.
You know what, though? I feel bad about Hit and Run because if you don't have cash,
you can't tip them.
You can't tip them. Like, right. I would think that would be the number one store that would get one of those like square point of sale handhelds where they can walk out, because if you tell them what you want, just hold on to your card, sir, ma'am, whatever. They come out with your stuff. They do the transaction and they give you the opportunity to tip, because with that little handheld square thing, you do all right there.
Right. You're more apt to do it.
I don't ever have cash.
Right. One time I felt so bad. I had an uncashed in $2 lottery ticket.
Like, here you go.
I did. I gave it to the guy. I'm like, if you're ever out, cash this in, because I didn't have any cash.
I know that tips are a big source of their income there, and I get that, and I feel absolutely horrible, so I do not go through there. If they had a way for me to tip them when they came out to the car, they had that little mobile thing, I'd do it every time, because I don't want to get out of the car, but I'm not going to go there because I feel terrible, and I'm not going to go get cash. I love
their sweet tea.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites.
I used to, but now I don't drink it because
I tell you what's
after the doctor's appointment Thursday, I probably won't be allowed sweet tea.
But
either.
Will you?
I don't know.
But will you?
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I'm like 58
I could
now.
Listen, I could bring my blood sugar monitor thing in, and we could figure out where you are right now.
No, I don't want to know. Right, I still have till Thursday at 1:30.
No, you're gonna savor the time in between.
I am absolutely
go in there with the 300 blood sugar.
Listen, I'll tell you, as soon as this show's over, I'm having fried potatoes and onions right here where we're at.
There you go. That's not as bad as sugar, though. I mean, it is carbs, but
Yeah, here and carbs turn to sugar. Mm-hmm. So here's the big thing. You find out that you got something in common with Wilfred Brumley. Okay.
Oh, Peter.
If you find that out, not Quick Trip, but Hit and Run has what I do at Hit and Run. It's not the healthiest either, but it's a great alternative. I go to Hit and Run. I get a 4 to 4 ounce unsweet tea. I typically have them put either 4 or 5 of the lemon packets in there. Gives it a great flavor. And 2 of the yellow Splenda.
And how many little airplane vodkas?
That's usually 3 or 4, you know. But yeah, have them put that in there. I've tried to get them to call it the Chuck. They just don't do it, you know.
I'm going to order the Chuck.
Order the
Chuck. They better be on it.
Yeah, order the Chuck. So, but I mean, it's a really great drink. It's unsweet. It's still got that kind of sweet taste to it. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, sucralose is not good for you either, but
nothing's good for everything's going to kill you.
But
that's another thing that I've run into. Like, since I learned that I'm diabetic, obviously I do a bunch of research into what tastes good and what's acceptable, and now I've ran into all the crazy nutso conspiracy theorist people that are like, oh yeah, this stuff will poison you to death and it give you cancer. And the problem is, you go and you actually look at the studies that were done, and yeah, it'll give you cancer if you eat enough to kill a freaking elephant.
Right.
Like, if you eat enough or ingest enough sucralose or aspartame or whatever in a normal setting, you're never going to have a problem. Listen, everything,
if you're eating that shit by the spoonful, what I mean?
Right. Like if you're just downing packets of the crap, then yeah, you're going to have a problem with it.
The dispenser
it killed the lab rat, but he had a salt lick of the stuff and was licking it all day. But like, it's just so stupid, because I think people play off the fear of misinformation.
Yeah.
And number one, they're not going to show the results of the study because they're after that fear crap. But like, it's just absolutely asinine, because everything has the potential to cause cancer. Like, cancer is in everybody's body all the time. Your body just wards it off. Like, that's something that people don't realize.
Yeah.
It's just
cancerous cells.
Right.
Cancerous
We're
cells.
born with them.
Well,
free radicals are in your body all the time. And
right. But one of the dangers of sucralose, though, or any kind of artificial sweetener, is that it still tricks your mind into thinking that you've got sugar in your body. And, I mean, that can cause, effects also. It's why I actually try, like, I at one point I was getting one of those sweet teas every day, like, or not sweet teas, but like the Chuck,
The
I was
Chuck.
getting one every day, by gosh, I want a drink named after me.
Okay, so somebody just said I'm going to need more elaboration on the cancer is always living inside of us thing. So there are free radical cells in your body all the time. There are potential cancer-causing things that you ingest, breathe, and all that every day. Doesn't mean you're going to get cancer. Your body does ward off and does fight off foreign objects that get inside your body. But if you have a high concentration of something that makes its way through, then the cancer cells stick and they grow. Like, it's just common knowledge.
And it could be sugar, could be one of those things.
It could be anything. I mean, everything in the state of California causes cancer. Just read the label. Like, literally, they've gotten, and people make fun of it all the time, but literally they've gotten to the point where anything that has a potential to cause cancer is labeled such in California, and it's liability reasons and knowledge reasons and so on and so forth. But like literally everything. That's why you see people, like, they'll go work in a mill for 40 years. And for 40 years, they were inhaling these chemicals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't get to them until they built up a certain concentration, or that, one happened to make it through. The body has this amazing, amazing ability to filter out things. But as anything else, it might not catch one, or you might be the one that has more genetic disposition to getting that type of cancer or something. It's all around us all the time.
So let me ask a question, just so I understand. I've heard that statement before, not from you, but from someone else, that everyone lives with the potential or carries that particular defect in their body.
Mm-hmm. It's not even defect, just whatever you ingest.
Whatever it is. So basically what you're positing is that it's not so much that things cause cancer, it's that things deplete our ability to fight off the cancerous cells that are already existing.
Right.
Like, smoking doesn't necessarily cause cancer, but when you smoke all the time, that the cancer that may be in your lungs has less of an ability to be thwarted by the human body, and just grows because of the introduction of that particular chemical.
There's all kinds of variables. I mean, if you think about it, if your body's immune system's already weakened from something else, and you happen to ingest something that's a carcinogen, or again, like we talked earlier, you work in a factory for 40 years around carcinogenic chemicals or whatever. It's kind of I hate to say this, but it is kind of a lottery. And that's kind of scary.
Go me.
But here's the thing. The more you play the lottery, the more of a chance of winning you have.
Right.
So the more knowledgeable you are at things that are carcinogens, and the more you stay away from them, the less of a chance you have of winning the bad lottery, which is getting cancer.
Gotcha.
So that's the name of the game. It is very much not like, I mean, unless you get exposed to like a double lifetime dose of radiation, and that, like, bro, I'm going to get cancer. Duh. Right. It's very much almost never a situation where, like, oh, I was exposed to this thing one time, and now I have this incredibly high risk of getting cancer. Like I said, with the exception of, like, you picked up a bar of thorium and licked it or something, like, you're screwed. Right. Like, don't do that, But like, you even look at those girls, and there was I forgot what the radium girls. Yeah. So they were, back in the day, they used to make watch faces and time clocks and all kinds of stuff glow in the dark with radium. It's radioactive phosphor and all that stuff that glows in the dark when it's charged with light. These women, all women, because it was a female job back then, sat and painted these dials, and they would lick their brushes and dip them. So the whole idea of licking the brush, and I'm not on camera, but the whole idea of licking the brush is you'd have this little paintbrush, and it would like frayed out at the end, right? Yeah. And so you would take the brush and
bring it to a point
with your mouth, and then dip it and go back and painting. Well, you're getting all that radium on their mouth. Their mouths rotted out.
Direct exposure.
Oh my gosh.
And they died. And some of these people were so irradiated that they buried them in lead lined coffins, and they'll be, radioactive for the next 600 plus years or whatever. But that was long-term exposure. And of course they got weird cancers and stuff like that. But if cancer was an instantaneous thing from the chemical that you were exposed to, day one, you've got cancer. But that's not the way that it works. Long-term exposure, your body being punched with it over and over again. If I come up and I punch you on the shoulder, just like a mild tap,
I'm going to punch you back.
You're going to punch me back. But let's assume that I come up and I punch you on the shoulder, and I walk away, your body is not affected by it at all. You're like, oh, why
Mhm.
did you do that? I'm going to punch you in the face, whatever. But if I sat there and continuously, just for days and days and days and days, weakened that spot on your body over and over and
Yeah,
over again,
no.
eventually you're going to have problems. You could develop blood clots. You
Yeah.
could have all kinds of, you could have like an aneurysm in one of the arteries in your arm from the continuous damage.
Yeah.
That's the way cancer plays. It so much exposure, especially in today's world where everything can have some sort of carcinogen in it, so much exposure that eventually something sticks. You know, I mean, there have been studies that the aluminum in deodorant over years has
Right.
been shown
Yeah.
to collect in breast tissue and then cause breast cancer. Well, I mean, it's been in your breast tissue since you were a teenage girl and putting deodorant on, but it didn't happen until you were in your 40s or 50s.
Hmm.
Why? Because the concentration got big enough for it. Your body was weak enough or weak at a certain point in time that the cancer took hold. And now there you are, unfortunately. It's overexposure. I think way too many people think, well, you know, if I just, you know, watch out for those things, or it's a luck. It's really just I hate to say it, but it's a luck thing. Like, you can be one of those super lucky people that smokes your entire life to the day you die, and you didn't die because of any kind of lung related issue. You had a heart attack. Like,
Yeah.
or you could be one of those unlucky people that, you know, smokes for 10 years and gets lung cancer. I mean, or gets secondhand smoke lung cancer, or gets lung cancer from exposure to some chemical you worked with you didn't
Right.
even know you were around. Like toner cartridges in the office space, you know, like, oh, I've got an office job, I'm never going to get cancer. Well, all the furniture is packed with formaldehyde. All the toner cartridges, every bit of laser toner is a carcinogen. You breathe that stuff in, it's just as bad as breathing in asbestos does.
Great. I've got one in my basement I
Like-
use every day.
Yeah, well, no, but it's people, like, if you remember back in the day when you changed a toner cartridge in an old
Yeah.
school like Xerox machine,
It would powder up. Yeah.
you powder up and you're pulling it out and there's black powder everywhere and people breathe in that. That is
Yeah.
a carcinogen, and it's just as bad as what would cause mesothelioma and lead to lung issues and cancers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I do know, speaking on toner technology from my current job, that they've changed. And I'm only addressing this because, you know, I work with toners every day, and, you know, people like the toners that most printers use now, laser printers use, are Prop 65 compliant.
Yep. They've moved away from
yeah,
stuff.
they have to be, for sure. Yeah. So I know that the ones that I use, at least, are Prop 65 compliant. And what you're saying, I mean, while I have not done the research that,
Mhm.
you know, you have or whatever,
Mhm.
you know, it kind of makes sense, because coming from a diabetic standpoint,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, you're in decent shape. I'm in decent shape. I mean, those shapes may be
Yeah,
more
it's
round than others, you know.
That's what I'm
but,
going to say, round.
you know, yeah, I mean, but you know, you and I, were you actually diagnosed with diabetes or pre-diabetic?
I'm diagnosed with diabetes.
Okay, so you have diabetes, I have diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I have seen people that are much larger and much less active than you and I
And
are.
never have a problem. They drink 20 Mountain Dews a
And
day.
they drink, 20
And
Mountain
nothing
Dews,
against-
shove Dunkin',
yeah.
you know, cakes down their throat
Nothing
like they're
against
going
their
out of
weight or
style.
body
and-
type or anything, but again, it's luck of the draw. And I mean, genetic disposition. And like somebody just said on here, they commented, so could someone with an autoimmune disease or disorder have a higher risk of not being able to fight the cancer cells off? Yes and no, because again, I think it's a lottery thing. I think maybe you could have a slightly higher risk. So if I were in that position, I would probably take better precautions.
Yeah.
But you obviously can't live your entire life reading every single label and going absolutely nuts. You just got to
Right.
know what's right and what's not right to put in your body. And I think that we have figured that out in the American workforce. Like, you'll see people like coal miners always end up with like black lung.
Oh yeah, I
and,
mean,
and
that's
all
yeah.
that stuff. But now they have preventative measures and really good ventilation in the mines. And these people that come out of the mines, they're dirty, but they don't look like the children workers that used to come out of the
Right.
mines, and they were like almost look like they were in blackface. Like
Right.
literally.
Yeah.
Those were the kind of things like, bro, you're not going to have a very good life because
Well, if they're going to get canceled, they walk around with blackface all day, you know. So,
And the steel mills with
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
with-
mean, you got to think what you're breathing in there. My dad worked at a company here in Granite called Jennison Wright, and that's a sore subject for a lot of people.
boy,
Called
sure
what?
is.
But it was called Jennison Wright. It was
Okay.
over over in West Granite.
Mhm.
You familiar with this?
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So it took a long
Railroad
time.
ties.
Yeah, it
Oh,
took a
okay.
long time for the EPA to come in and clean that up, and there's still a monitoring station over there.
Took a long time for him to admit it.
Was that because of the whole creosote thing?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
So
I
my
do
dad,
remember something about
my dad
that.
would work over there. They would get raw lumber railroad ties in, and they would treat them in creosote vats, which then did indeed leak out into the soil. And there was a huge EPA battle over that, huge craziness. But my dad worked there, and my dad was a crane operator in the BOF at Granite City Steel, US Steel, whatever the name of it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a smoker. Now he has emphysema and COPD, and he's on oxygen. But his doctor, I think, doesn't necessarily credit the entirety of the damage to smoking. Now, I'm not saying go out, hey, light up your cigarettes, everything's okay, because obviously that's wrong too. But, the human body's not designed to process that. And I was a smoker for a great number of years.
Mm-hmm.
And, but if you keep damaging your body with things like that, I mean, you see, if you cut yourself on the arm, it never looks like your regular skin again. I've got damage.
Scars, things like
I've
that.
got scars on my hand from when I was little, like little, that are still here. And I'm 41 years old. That happens in your lungs. That happens on your organs. There are very few organs in the body that regenerate themselves really well, with the exception of the liver.
Right.
But yeah, if you keep damaging that, and those organs have to keep rebuilding, your skin has to keep rebuilding. You keep beating your skin down with ultraviolet radiation from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just be fair, it's radiation. Like, people think radiation, Chernobyl, radiation.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean,
no, it's radiation. Like, there's a healthy amount of the sun that you need to take, for the vitamin
D production
benefit.
and that, yeah.
Right. And you don't need to be a cave dweller. That's detrimental to your health too, but you do need to protect yourself. And there's just all kinds of things out there. Start reading what you're eating. Look at the chemicals, and don't immediately be like, oh, what's this big long word? Like, look it up. Like, you get these people on TikTok that freak out, and they're like, well, look at all this ingredient list, and you start looking up, and they're like essential minerals and vitamins and stuff. Yeah. Like, bro,
I think the best policy on that is you can't pronounce it, don't eat it.
Well, there are some things. They're regulated to not just say, hey, this is vitamin C. They have to say what the actual additive is. Now, you go look up that additive, and it's vitamin C. And the reason why it's called what it's called is because they turned it into a powdered form. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a thing a whole long time ago where these women were going around. They're like, look at this baby formula. And they take the baby formula and they put it in a Ziploc bag, and they get it all down to one corner. You get all down to one corner of the Ziploc bag, and they take a magnet and they move the magnet up to it. And you'd see the little flecks of iron come out and be touching the magnet. And it's like, listen, I need you to have some common sense and understand that the only way that you can put iron in something is by putting iron in something. Iron isn't anything other than flecks of metal, and it's required for the human body. It's a mineral. So you literally know nothing. I
remember that.
You literally know
big
nothing.
Deal.
Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, don't buy this baby formula. It's got iron in it. It says it on the label. And
right now, it's rice cereal for babies with the iron in it.
It's literally, iron is metal. Listen, if I take a high quality, non-oiled, raw piece of iron, and I take a piece of 80 grit sandpaper to it, and I create iron dust, it's a little bit bigger than what goes into your food when it says it's fortified with iron.
Yeah.
And the body breaks that down and uses it as necessary minerals in your body. Like, that's what it is. Like, before you get on social media and make yourself look like an idiot, do your research. If you would have taken chemistry or paid attention in chemistry in high school, you'd already know this, but you didn't. But you sure can get on a Facebook Live and be like, look what they're doing to our babies.
Well, that's because the media gets on there and says, well, Procter and Gamble has been putting flakes of metal in their baby formula for the last 50 years. Yeah. Do we really need it? Well, I guess the answer is, we do.
Yes, you do. Just like vitamin C. And I mean, where do you think they get this stuff from? And like, listen, I'm not going to go against the people that might think that Big Pharma's out there kind of screwing people, because there's a lot of screwing people in the name of profit. But like, at the end of the day, the vitamin C that they're fortifying your crap with is powdered vitamin C concentrated down from whatever they could get it out of.
Yeah.
They didn't go and buy the highest quality California oranges and extract the vitamin C. No, they bought whatever they could get vitamin C out of that showed positive on the electrospectrometer in the lab and said, yes, this is vitamin C. And they powdered it and they put it in your shit so that they could be liable.
Don't they call it ascorbic acid or something like that?
Yeah,
and
that's something like people look at these ingredients list and they
it's
go,
got acid in it.
Oh, wow, they put acid in it. Why do that? Like, okay, you want your sours to be sour, right? So it's got citric acid in it.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise it won't be sour.
Yeah.
Like, if you go bite into an orange and you're like, oh, or you go bite into something that's sour, like naturally, and you're like, oh, you look at that in a lab, it's freaking citric acid.
Yeah.
Do you think it's some magical BS that we just go, oh, no, like your favorite soda doesn't taste like that because they put natural ingredients in it.
Facts.
Hey, read the label. May contain some natural ingredients.
Yeah, I mean,
that'll tell you something right there.
You just need to have some common sense. And the thing that I say, listen, before all of these resources were readily available, back when somebody had to have a door-to-door salesman come sell them a $2,000 set of Encyclopedia Britannicas so that they could keep up with information, or you had to get a library card, you may have had a little bit more of an excuse. But the good thing of back then was you didn't have a social media platform to tell everybody your misinformed opinion. But today, you can look up those ingredients on your list of foods and make a logical decision based upon what they are. Do I want to put that in my body, or do I not want to put that in my body? So you can take your sweet and low packet and look at said sweet and low packet and see the main ingredient, and it is aspartame, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And you can go, okay, well, aspartame I've heard is bad. Let me go look at the study on that. And the good thing is you don't have to be a medical professional. That's work though, Bill. But hold on. Go look at the study on that. They'll tell you yes. So aspartame has been shown to cause problems with the body in this concentration level. So if you're putting a pound of sweet and low in your morning coffee, you're going to have problems. Yeah. If you're using a couple packets a day, bro, I mean, I think you need to pit that against the pollution in the town that you live in, that you breathe in every day. Which is worse, the sucralose or the aspartame or the air that I can almost chew? Like, right. Pick one, because like, let's just be real. Stay away from the things that could really be harmful to you. Yeah, well, my opinion is I'm going to agree with the great George Carlin on this. If you're concerned you got cancer, just eat yourself a bowl of broccoli and you're good to go. Right. Broccoli cures everything.
And I'm going to go with everything in moderation.
Yeah. I agree with that too. I think that if you really are worried about aspartame, then put one less pack in your coffee, right? Or switch to something that's a little more.
Or not do it at all,
right?
And go with the sugar. Just not 5 tablespoons of it. In that
and I would say that too. Like, okay, so you're a diabetic, depending on the type of diabetes you have. This is a disclaimer. But like if you're really worried about the aspartame, manage your blood sugar with your medication that has been proven to work for years and years and years, and have that packet of sugar in your coffee in the morning. Right. But then watch the stuff for the rest of the day. Right. Like. So even my doctor told me, I went to him and yearly diabetic checkup, and not my current doctor. Someone let him off the hook. This was the doctor in Seattle. I went and talked to him, and he's like, I'm not going to tell you not to eat a donut. He's like, you're going to eat a donut. Yeah. He's like, you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me that you don't eat donuts, but you're going to eat a donut. I'm not an idiot. And he's like, and a donut is okay. It's like, I wouldn't eat one every day. I wouldn't eat one every couple of days, maybe one a week or something like that. He's like, but Kim, to your point, he's like, moderation. Now, do I eat donuts? No, I don't eat donuts. Do I have a bite of cake here and there? Yeah, that's sure. That's what mine said. But, hey, like, don't go to the birthday party and be like, oh no, I don't want any cake, and torture yourself. He's like, because what's going to happen is you're going to fail. If you go on one of these crazy fad diets, let's just all binge. Be honest. You're going to binge on birthday cake for 2 weeks. Yeah, you have a moment like it's almost like you're a drug user. We're like, oh, I'm clean, and then somebody's like, hey, bro, want a piece of cake? And you're like, no, yeah. And then like suddenly you're laying on the floor in a cake coma because you like stuffed yourself with icing all over your face, Right. You're just wrecked because you're like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Like because Dave Chappelle. I took a swig of my wife's. Now I don't drink anything sweet anymore. I do Coke Zero and whatever has zero in it. And I've gotten very used to that, and it's okay with me. I took a swig of my wife's sweet tea the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Tastes like syrup. Really? You liked it?
How can you not like it?
I I likened it to one of those like childhood flashbacks. Like you saw the scene in Ratatouille where he like puts it in his mouth and like he's flashback to his childhood.
Never seen the movie.
Oh, you should watch that. That's what it was like for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss it so much. But I know I am one of those people that I'll just start drinking sweet tea again, and I can't do that. But I want to leave the conversation with this thought: like, if you are unwilling to do the normal things to protect what is tangible, wearing safety glasses, wearing a respirator, wearing gloves when you're doing something that you know is dangerous, you're probably unwilling to look out for the more dangerous things that aren't tangible. So I would suggest that everybody just be alert to what you're putting in your body, because I mean, some of these things, listen, we had things that we thought were wonder drugs, and turns out that they weren't. Thalidomide, you remember? I don't know if that's a thing, but like we thought that was great, and it turned out to be the worst birth defect giver in the history of mankind, and that was all FDA approved. And so I would say use your judgment. Don't be a crazy conspiracy theorist and not do anything, but do your research. It's all available out there now too. Don't take people's stupid comments like vaccines cause autism to heart, because let's just be real. And I'm going to say this, and there's going to be people that hate me, but if 0.0001% of the population got autism from vaccines, the vaccines are still worth it, because the rest of the population isn't sitting in an iron lung with polio or dead from measles.
Absolutely.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And I'm very sorry for anybody whose child has autism, but I will also say that vaccines have not been proven to cause autism. But the woman on social media that busted that out years ago was pretty much the direct cause of a resurgence of childhood diseases that we did not have in this country anymore and are now back, because they think vaccines cause autism, and they think that everybody's covering it up and that vaccines are this big conspiracy. Like, bro, they're not. They're proven. Now, we're not going to get into the COVID-19 vaccine or any of that kind of crazy stuff, but like measles, mumps, polio, all those vaccines that have been effective for years, like your one social media post off of biased information that wasn't even proven by the scientific community set the medical field back years.
But those are the ones that get the most traction.
Sure.
Like the ones that cause the most controversy are the ones who get, the most traction.
Somebody, by the way, is screaming at you because you have not seen Ratatouille.
Pretty sure that's my daughter. It says Facebook user, but I'm pretty sure it's my daughter. I'm also pretty sure she's the one that says she wasn't worried until tonight. Haha.
Oh, well, I mean,
so
listen, there's still time to change, like for real.
She's young too, so she's got plenty of time.
It's a lot of these carcinogens that you encounter are like it is a happen now type of thing, and they will come out of your body. There are carcinogens that you encounter like asbestos and stuff that stick around forever. There are forever chemicals. That's another thing that you can go look up if you want to freak yourself out. Forever chemicals.
That's true.
That stay with you until the day that you die. But just stay away from dangerous stuff and try to eat clean and try to eat natural. Think about like we were talking about death earlier. It's natural for a body to rot and go back to the earth. Well, what's natural to eat and drink?
You ever heard of it's called paleo. Have you ever heard of the paleo diet? Mm-hmm. So it's based off of the way that cavemen would eat, right? Getting back to more natural, organic. Some people call it the caveman diet. And I'll tell you what, while I was doing that, what are you laughing at Shelby's comment?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about the Benadryl thing. They've actually found that people who take too much melatonin as well can have early onset dementia.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's just something else for me to worry about, because I cannot sleep at night. I had the worst night's sleep. Well, the worst night the other night because I could not sleep because I didn't take some medicine I normally take. And I would love to be pharmaceutical free.
Yeah.
Well, the other night's experience told me that my body is not ready for that yet.
No, you got to wean yourself off of it. If you're a high melatonin user or a Benadryl user, you have to slowly wean yourself off of it so your body gets used to the deficiency of melatonin so that it can make up for it. Otherwise, you come right off of it, you're just going to be freaking insane.
It surprised me how many kids
it was a terrible night. It was an even worse day the next day. because the next day I was at church and I was playing drums and
you were just dragging it.
It's not so much. Some of the other guys said, Chuck, you're kind of dragging. It wasn't so much I was dragging the beat, but what was going on is like at the beginning, I was like, I could not get the countdown to start everybody off. And finally, I just looked over at Brian and he started. Yeah, So by the way, if you're looking to serve at a church and play drums, contact me. We really need a guy because I can play drums and I can run sound and the live stream. It's kind of hard to do both. So if you want to play drums and you want to serve doing that, please reach out. But what I was going to say about the paleo thing is that the food, it just tasted so great. It wasn't sweet or sugary or anything like that. It wasn't oversalted. You use a lot of natural organic stuff. And whether organic is overrated or not, don't know. That's probably another show. But, just eating healthier and eating cleaner does make you feel a lot better.
It does. It's inconvenient. I think that, so the wife and I twice now have endeavored to move on to cleaner ways of eating. And not only did we lose weight, but we felt better. And I 100% am going to do it again. The problem is we live in a busy world, and it is just so much more convenient for me to run through a drive-through.
Yes, it is.
100%.
And grab something and go because I've got another place to be.
Yep.
Versus, we're going to make these pre-done meals and we're going to do all this stuff. And that's a problem. And the organic debate is for another show. Yes. But I will say that some of it is legit and others not so much. I know some folks that run farms and they are certified organic. And they're doing things right. The one guy that I know is doing things right, but from the description of the process, it's not hard to do things wrong, or it's not impossible. Like USDA is not standing at your farm watching you 24/7.
Right. And the requirements. So there used to be a difference, and I don't know if it's the same or not. There used to be a difference between the brown label organic and the green label organic. Yeah. And it was really either way, the layman is going to look and it's organic and
certified organic. Yep.
Yeah. And there's a difference in that for sure. I would like to explore that, some evening on
I
the
think
show.
That'd be cool too. Because listen, your farmers, people think that farmers are evil with all the stuff that they like, the hormones in the cows but no, here's the deal. Like, as a farmer, if I have several head of cattle and half of them die off, I could go into serious debt in the matter of 1 quarter in business because I lost a significant part of my herd, be that feed cows or milk cows, doesn't matter, either one. So if I have a strain of something that goes through and gets into my animals and they die, I'm screwed because I've already taken a loan to get these animals to where they are now. So yeah, I'm going to opt in to give these animals antibiotics to keep them from getting this disease and keep me from losing money. The same thing goes for crops. Like, I'm going to spray my crops with this known, herbicide or whatever, because I don't want to lose my entire crop. That one crop lost, it's like living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, I took out a $2 million loan for the equipment and the seed every year, and I'm going to pay that back if I have a full yield. If my crop burns down, I'm done. Yeah, you can have crop insurance, but you can only do that so many times before somebody doesn't want to insure you anymore. Like, hey, bro, you don't know what you're doing. I'm not insuring you. Like, you can only crash your car so many times before the insurance company's like, look, buddy, the only way we're going to insure you is if you pay like $7,000 a month, and we know you can't afford that. So, like, most of these farmers are not out there trying to be like malicious or anything. They're out there trying to make sure that they can make their money and still put food on their table. And yes, there are some farms that will preemptively treat all their animals with antibiotics. I don't think that needs to be a thing. I still believe in what they kind of did back in the day. They'd have a vet come out, they'd give the cow that was afflicted a treatment, and then they would segregate said cow until it got better or passed away, and thus not affecting the rest of the herd. But on these big farms, that's kind of hard to do too. Got 50 sick cows all at once or whatever. And I'm not a professional farmer, but no, I'm not. But But I mean, these are things that happen, and
There's even a commercial right now. I don't know
from
which.
Purdue,
Yeah,
hmm
where the two guys are talking and
Yep.
they're saying our competitors are.
they
What?
dose all their animals with antibiotics right off the bat.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's caught my attention here
Yep.
recently.
Yeah, Tyson is a big one for that. I'll call him out because nobody cares about us. So, Tyson,
Until now.
right? Yeah, we're on a list now. Tyson is a big one for that. But again, you're a big commercial farm, and the name of the game is profit. I don't make any profit off of killing my customers. You gotta think.
But
that.
what has happened to the chicken that they're so freaking big?
Hormones.
Yeah, hormones.
Okay, can we do away with that?
I mean, you could, but then you'd end up with like really small
Skinny
chickens. Yeah, because that's also the name of the game. If I know a safe, quote unquote, flying air quotes, safe hormone that I can give these chickens when they're little, and they'll grow up to have 30% larger breasts and thighs and all that stuff, then absolutely I'm going to give it to them because I've got a short turnaround time that I have to have these chickens ready to go to market. And I want them to be as big as possible because I'll make the most money off of them. If I have little Cornish hens running around, I ain't making me no money.
Yeah,
I like to get skinny chicken.
When you're in the grocery store, though, but like when you're in a grocery store and you're looking at chicken breast and you're looking to buy something, are you going to buy the puny breast or are you going to buy the larger breast?
Well, actually, in our home, we're more of the thigh and the leg.
Yeah, okay.
We really are. David cooks a lot of soups with chicken thigh.
Yeah.
That's why he's so healthy and why he's living so long.
He broils chicken thighs with barbecue sauce.
Now you just threw it all away.
Listen, really, he does though. One of the main things that we have always cooked in our home that our three boys loved was broiled chicken legs, and now they just don't look the same. They're just.
Yeah, it's a different process.
Dang, what is wrong with that?
I would say that if you were going to put the time forward, like it's very hard to go from being on a carnivorous diet to something that's vegan, or something that's even like vegetarian or whatever. Like that's really tough. Keep eating meat.
Turkey breast for sure. He's like down for that.
Yeah,
turkey breast.
Keep eating meat, but like, listen, if you're really concerned, go find some local people. Like find a local farmer, buy from them. That's still around. It's harder to find.
And more expensive, let's be honest.
It is more expensive, but you are paying partially for that. Hey, I'm not doing all this crazy stuff that these big boys are doing. They can get a guaranteed turnout because they have a very low death rate, and their animals produce more because their animals are bigger. But the same thing goes like the organic thing earlier. Like go find some Soulard Market stuff that is fresh. Things, and put it away. Like we could have a whole episode on canning and preservation. We don't do that anymore. We just trust for these companies to do it. Well, here's the thing. They're going to put chemicals that the FDA approves into their products to extend the shelf life because I don't want to have to get my stuff turned away from a Schnucks or a Deerbergs or something like that because it's got a 2-week shelf life when the other pasta sauce right over here has got a year shelf life.
Right. It makes sense.
I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's just the way it is.
If you want to do something that can give you a little more information without having to do a whole lot of research or whatever, compare the same product ingredients to those in Europe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because if you look at some of the product ingredients in Europe compared to them, like Europe doesn't allow things in their food that the people eat, especially when it comes to sodas and things like that. So I think it's really important. It is important to do your research, even, with what you've learned here tonight, not to take anything away from what you said, but, do your own research.
Absolutely.
Because just anyone can say anything. And I consider you a very knowledgeable person. Like, you've done your research on a lot of things. Because
I'm paranoid.
Right. You know what? In the world we live in now, sometimes paranoia is not a bad thing, but yeah, I mean, do your research, you take care of your bodies. I don't always do a great job on that because I've got my own vices and foods, that I won't eat.
Like,
but
nobody's telling you not to eat the fried chicken.
Just don't eat fried chicken every single day of your life.
A bucket of KFC is not a good idea for dinner every night.
Yeah.
No.
It's just not. And if you look at the way that society has shifted, it is the bucket of KFC every night, except it's not the bucket of KFC every night. It's KFC tonight, pizza tomorrow, Jack in the Box the day after.
100%.
And now all of the, I hate to say home cooked meals, people kind of cringe at that, but like all of the home cooked meals are the healthy stuff. The stuff
they are.
It's gone.
Yeah.
David cooks. David's not he doesn't eat out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's not one to go to a restaurant. He's not one to run through a fast food for himself.
Yeah.
Right.
It's his generation, though.
It
Yep,
is.
it
It's
is.
totally his generation.
He's big into making dinner. He just always has been.
Well, and the unfortunate
and not
thing,
the big like 5-course thing.
but just dinner.
Like I said,
Yeah.
my boys, I know they will look back on their childhood and they'll be like, "We just had chicken legs."
Who does that anymore? Most people don't. Yeah.
It's just.
I
yeah.
actually just helped my son learn how to make fried chicken from scratch
Yeah.
the other night. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And, used to, like, at one point in time, macaroni and cheese was a meal.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Like, that was the meal. It's like, are you adding chicken into that? Nope, it's macaroni and cheese.
macaroni and
What the
cheese.
hell's wrong with you? Macaroni and
Mhm.
cheese is a side. We don't do that anymore. Like, we don't go, like, even at the fast food places, you don't order a burger anymore. It's the combo meal.
Yep.
They're going to add the soda, they're going to add the fries, plus your main hamburger, something like that.
Well, and let's just be
So-
honest. The name of the game at every one of those restaurants not right now is not quality.
Right. No.
And I'm not saying that to play down the service of any individual fast food restaurant at all, but that's just the name of the game in like all of the fast food restaurants. Like we're
Mhm.
going to buy the cheap, nobody's going out. McDonald's isn't going out and going, listen, we don't want to buy bottom of the barrel, guys. We want to buy the quality beef patty. No, who's got the best beef prices right now? Give me that stuff. I'm going to form it into patties. I'm going to freeze it and I'm going to ship it out to my restaurants. So it's not that they don't care, but then they're in the name of the business to make money. And these foods were never intended to be your only go-to food.
Right.
Why are we fat? Because convenience makes us fat.
That's right.
Convenience makes us fat. I guarantee that if fast food places had never existed and we were all still cooking at home, that the body types would look different. Yes, there'd still be some fat people, but just go back and look at some historical photos of just people. We weren't that fat. We weren't that out of shape.
Right. My recent trip to Amsterdam really opened my eyes up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Those people over there, they eat better. They don't eat big or anything like that. And I don't think I saw one overweight person. Now, do the Netherlands have heavy set people?
Of course.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
But like you just mentioned, they're not, everywhere that you look. Like there were a lot of fit people. They ride their bikes everywhere, I mean, but yeah, no, 100%. But
it's our lifestyle. It really is. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I mean, I was a field manager for a big telecom company for several years, and every day fast food, and I could have packed a lunch, I could have put it in a little Coleman cooler and done the right thing, but it's just easier to run through a drive-thru and eat while you're on your way to the next job or whatever. Like it's just convenient, and we've engineered it that way, and we've taken exercise out of daily routines. There used to be a lot of walking, bicycle riding, public transportation, all that. We have made that to the point where it's just ultimately inconvenient, and you'd rather hop in your car, take an Uber or whatever. And it's hard to get out of those routines. The wife and I started exercising last year. We're going to do it again this year. Bike riding. It was hard to build up to what we were riding, but I felt better. I felt so much better. I was losing weight faster than I'm trying to now. The holiday season has not fared well for me, but
same.
yeah, but it's a big change. But you have to know that unless you're one of those genetically blessed individuals that is just always skinny, no matter, like, your metabolism is the same as it was when you were a teenager.
Right.
If you live on the fast food diet, you are not going to be in shape. You are not going to feel good.
Yeah.
You are going to, any genetic faults, you are going to point out: high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all those things, because you are putting all of the wrong things in your body.
Right.
It's pretty that simple.
But you know what's not wrong, and it is convenient.
What is convenient?
Clicking on in the Metro and the 62040 every Monday night at 7:15.
And now a word from our sponsor.
So we can have conversations like this. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. We had quite a few people on, which was kind of nice across our 3 channels.
Yeah.
So I want to just kind of mention a couple of things here that are coming up. First of all, again, we always have to give props to the businesses down here in this particular complex, Downtown Diner, the Board Gamery, the Garden Gate Tea Room, Studio C, just for, helping make our show be possible. We definitely appreciate that. And, I'm going to say it. Brenda Whitaker does a great job down here of doing these things. And, we appreciate her allowing us this platform to bring to you guys. So, check out their hours. Come down here and support these guys, and support her businesses, because you're not just supporting her, you're also supporting her employees. She's a small business. And when you come down here, you're actually helping the economy here in town, because you're putting people to work. So come down here, visit these businesses and patronize them. We definitely appreciate just the whole complex here. And I'd much rather do my show or our show from here instead of my basement, where, it's not as warm. It
has toner cartridges in there.
Yeah.
No.
The only thing I regret about the place that we do, or about this place that we're doing it out of right now, is that the tea room is not open for me to eat while I'm here tonight.
I know we gave up that spot to Mostly Hockey.
I know those people can have it. Like, really, like that's
it's booming here on Thursday nights.
Huh?
We'll have to come down here and watch Mostly
Just sit
Hockey.
at the window and eat.
While they do their show on Thursday nights at 7:15.
I'm usually here in the little lounge area. The tribe's kind of usually always working on something. It's a hopping place.
Yep.
Why you got to call me and Bill out like that?
I know. Yeah, thanks.
Why you got to say you're always here? Why you got to do that?
Well, I kind of am.
Oh, jeez.
I'm telling you, Chuck's absolutely right. Amazing burgers, amazing choices at the diner. Yeah. If you have not been down here and you haven't tried it, it is great. It great burgers. And the tea room food. Listen, if you're a dude and you're thinking tea room, that's a girl thing. No, they have the best sandwiches, soups, salads. There's something for everyone here, and it's amazing food. It's made with fresh ingredients.
She's still doing the lobster bisque.
Yes. And
absolutely.
It is just great. And if you're thinking, oh, well, it's probably expensive, it's not.
No.
Great prices at both the diner and the tea room. And you can get custom espressos and lattes at the Board Gamery. And there's just so many things right here in this one building. You don't even have to leave. You don't have to walk outside for it. It's just great. Come down here, give it a try.
Yeah. And if you want to drink, just shuffle up the road about a block and a half to the Speakeasy. Yeah. They've got.
If you haven't been there, you're for sure missing out.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We definitely appreciate it. Remember, we're here 7:15 every Monday night, and Mostly Hockey is here every Thursday at 7:15 also. So, and those guys talk about more than just hockey for sure,
Mostly hockey.
It's mostly hockey, but some other things. Join Tim and Justin down here for sure.
Yes.
And it's a great show.
Great guys.
I'm still mad. I'm still incredibly mad. I don't have a note. Y'all got.
We did.
The gauntlet has been thrown down. Bill's feelings are hurt.
I am. I'm gonna cry.
Daryl, you're gonna have to leave my boy here a note.
I already have mine in my hand because I'm gonna leave them one.
Now you better do it, because if they get here on Thursday and they don't have a note, you're in trouble.
No, I'm doing it.
All right.
I've been eyeing that ink pen right there.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. No outro this evening.
No, it's gonna just be a blank stop.
Yep. Next week I'll have one. I'll try not to be a lazy ass and get our outro uploaded to our new studio. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Bye.